to make a breakfast roll. It's this homemade bread, and inside we're going to put some scrambled eggs and bacon and cheese and sausage, and then roll it up, and it's kind of like a cinnamon roll, but it's more savory. So I'm going to start with making bacon because we've got to make sure that all the ingredients are cooled off before we make our roll. So I make my bacon in the oven. I'm going to put my slices on my tray, on my stoneware. My oven is preheated to 450 degrees. Just here. And I need about 10 slices. Okay, so I got 8 slices on here. I'm going to have to make a second tray. But we're going to slide this in the oven. I'm going to bake it at 450 degrees for about 17 minutes and then check and see how well done it is. So our bacon has been in the oven for 17 minutes, and now I'm just going to pull it off, set it on a paper towel so that it can cool off before we start making our bread. I like to stick the bacon together because then it sticks together. You can't get it apart. So put another paper towel on top and get the next 3 pieces. And there we are. So the next step in our breakfast roll is sausage. I just took a 16-ounce roll of pork sausage, and my saucepan is hot, and we're just going to break it up and brown the sausage. I'm going to leave it in the pan for about 5 minutes, let it get all brown, and then we'll be back. So our sausage is finishing up, and while it is finishing up, I'm going to work on the eggs, because we're going to make scrambled eggs too. I have 5 whole eggs cracked in my bowl, and I have 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. Now, my children will tell you they have no idea how I make scrambled eggs the way that I do, and I tell them all the time it's heavy cream. They don't believe me. But all I'm going to do is whisk the heavy cream into the eggs. Normally I would add salt and pepper, but since I'm going to cook these in the same pan that the sausage is coming out of, and in the sausage's grease, there's no reason to add more flavor to the eggs. It's going to get enough from the leftover grease from the sausage. Scoop out my sausage. I'm trying to get as much of the grease left in there so that that'll flavor my eggs. Alright, so we're going to set this aside also to cool. And in the meantime, we're going to add our eggs. I'm going to use the same wooden spoon that I used for my sausage. Do is swirl around until the eggs cook. And I am one who constantly stirs my scrambled eggs, and that to keep them from burning. And so when they get almost completely cooked, I spread them out over the bottom of my pan and then turn the heat off. The pan's hot enough that it's going to finish cooking them the rest of the way. And then we'll get a bowl to put them in so that they can cool off as well. So we've made our eggs, we've made our sausage, we've made our bacon. Now we get to make the bread. And the first step to that is blooming the yeast. So I've got a cup of warm water. I have a tablespoon of yeast and a tablespoon of sugar. And we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes or until the yeast starts to bubble, and then we'll come back. So our yeast has bloomed. Now we're going to set it up with in the mixer. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, the dough hook, teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and 3 cups of flour. I'm going to start it on low, just to get it all mixed together. Then I'm going to speed it up. This way I don't have to knead the bread. My mixer will do it for me. It's the lazy man's way of making the bread. This mix for about 5-6 minutes, and then we'll be back. So our dough has been mixing for about 5 minutes. Now I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to lay a towel over it and let it sit for 20 minutes. Let it just rise a little, and then we'll roll it out. So our dough has been resting for about 20 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is spray my countertop. And I'm going to pull the dough out. I'm going to roll it into a rectangle. We're as close to a rectangle as we can get. Take my pastry brush, brush melted butter along here. It's 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I melted 4 because I always lose butter when I melt it in the microwave. But I'm not going to use all of it. I'm just going to do enough to basically wet the dough. Okay. Now I'm going to take the scrambled eggs that we made earlier that we let cool. And they are certainly cool. I'm going to spread them out evenly across. Then I'm going to take my cheese. I have 2 cups of shredded cheese, and you can use whatever kind you like. I have colby-jack because that's what I like. I'm going to start with 1.5 cups and spread it out on top of the eggs, but you need a total of 2. There we go. Now I'm going to take my bacon. This is 10 slices of bacon that we cooked earlier. I'm just going to crumble it up, sprinkle it on top. If you get pieces that are too big, just you want to get a little bit of bacon in every bite. It's your goal. And then we're going to do the same with our sausage. And then if you've watched our cinnamon roll video, this will seem very familiar. Okay, we're going to take the dough, roll it, don't worry, you have stuff that falls out, you can just shove it in the side. And then I have a parchment lined cookie sheet. So I'm going to take and cut into little rolls like I do my cinnamon rolls and bake these. You want them about an inch and a half thick. We are going to bake these for about 12 to 14 minutes in a 400-degree oven. And then when we pull them out, we'll sprinkle that last half cup of cheese on top and bake them again for another couple minutes. All right, so we're going to start with the first 12 that I've got. I'm going to throw those in the oven and we'll be back. So our breakfast rolls have been cooking for about 12 minutes. Now I'm going to take the last half cup of cheese, sprinkle it over the top. Just a little on each one. I know I've said this a million times, but we like cheese in our house, like a lot of cheese. And then we're going to slide these back in the oven for another 2 or 3 minutes just to let the cheese melt and turn a nice golden brown on top. And then we'll be ready to eat. So our breakfast rolls are out of the oven, finished up, and now we just need to dive in and eat.